Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, it's time for below grade level. It's time for the fright of your life.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton. With me, as always, is Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Chris Zaleski.
Hello.
Christopher is what how I should introduce you.
Nope. Don't like it. Don't like hearing it over and over and over and over again. But that's my cross to bear.
We are joined today by a special guest, our good friend, returning champion to Below Grade Level, Kelly Fuller.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a champion.
Yes. I don't remember
Don't
what
tell
you
anyone
read,
I
but
got humbled by audio recording equipment.
No, that's our secret.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
I'll cut all of that out.
Thank
Good,
you.
because that was 30 minutes of
Oh,
troubleshooting.
Jesus Christ. I don't remember what you read
There's
with
one
us.
interested listener that's just like, darn.
Oh, I really wanted to hear that.
The ins and outs of
What
Audacity.
bitrate did you
and Audition.
settle on?
Did you change in the sample refresh? I don't remember what you read with us before, but whatever it was, everything we read is awful. So anyone who's willing to come back is a champion in my book. We've had a couple people, I feel like, who are like, no thanks, and we'll do it again.
I'm done forever.
We also like to watch bad movies together, so I feel like
Yes.
this is just kind of like the same thing.
There's a Venn diagram, and those things are intersecting. So we are reading The Eternal Enemy by Christopher Pike. And boy, it's a weird one. It's crazy. I love it so far. And I'm really like, fingers crossed, it's not going to just like in the last half, like a lot of these books do.
Yeah.
But does someone want to? Should it be me because I'm holding the paper, or does anyone else remember enough to recap what happened last
You
time?
seem to have energy, and I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're talking already. I say keep talking.
I don't know why I have energy. It's a Thursday night, and I've done a lot of physical labor for one straight week.
I've been in meeting after meeting after meeting on video today. So
Me too.
all my talking and being alive has run out.
I
Got
simply
soup for
don't
brains.
remember.
Yeah.
I built like an entire set for a thing at work that we shot yesterday, and it was really exhausting. And I think I'm just excited to be doing something fun and not that.
That's good.
But anyway, we have our main character whose name is Rela, spelled R-E-L-A, which I have to say because that's not a name I've ever seen before, and we're guessing on that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Rela loves cookies, cookies, boys, movies. I think milk was in there also.
Popcorn was in there. Chocolate was in there. She kept adding. At the beginning, she was like, "I love two things," and then she
And like every other
listed
paragraph.
like 10 more things eventually.
If there's another thing I love, it's boys.
Yeah.
Wait, she loves milk. We can still digest milk in this time period. 'Cause
It was
This is the
1993.
90s. Yeah.
a simpler time.
milk
and
had
I could
less
probably
hormones
also
in it.
digest milk in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the answer is they couldn't. There's just no one wanted to admit it. They just thought everyone pooped that much.
They were already
Yeah.
shitting from those Olestra potato chips, so they didn't.
Oh God!
Like, doesn't
I remember those.
Oh,
doesn't
my
like
God.
everyone
bag.
poop 4 times a day? Is that not normal? Or?
It can't be milk. Rayla is also obsessed with Christopher, her love interest, who Chris does not like hearing his name said that much. But
My full name that much. It's just, I just,
Christopher.
Also,
it just
to
makes
know,
me think I'm in trouble.
Christopher is the name of the author.
yeah.
Just like inserting yourself as the love interest of a teenager in your own book is yucky.
Yeah.
And it's
to
too.
me.
Oh.
It's not even just that Christopher is the author's name. It's that the author's name is Christopher Pike, and this dude's name is Christopher Perry. Like it's
Yeah.
so close. It's just too close.
I wonder what Rayla's real name is.
Sure hope it's his wife or her husband. I don't know his life.
Our guess was it was a teenage fan who sent him a letter, and he was like gonna write a book about her.
Oh God!
I mean,
I will spin you into one of my
I don't
yarns.
love this.
Yeah.
Rayla buys a VCR from Circuit City. We spent about 100
R.I.P.
pages reading about that transaction. Big muscle guy named Ed convinced her to pay with a post-dated check.
Yeah.
She didn't have the money, and she really needed 4 heads on the VCR so she could pause it to look at Mel Gibson's ass cheeks.
I forgot about that.
And Lethal Weapon. I will never forget anything about this
Oh,
book.
no, not pause it. Watch in slow motion.
Oh, watch in slow-mo.
Yeah, the
That's
whole
what it
chapter was about it.
You need
Yeah.
4 heads on a VCR to slow-mo.
Tolkien wrote a whole chapter on Hobbit doors, and this guy wrote a whole chapter on Mel Gibson's butt. All right.
The only timeless thing about Mel Gibson is his ass and Lethal
Those
Weapon.
buns.
Those buns.
Also, I've
Do those
decided
buns
that
also hate the Jews?
I've decided that is my Christopher Pike impression now. Is the I wrote a mystery. What's the twist? I'll never tell.
Rela throws a party, invites half 100
I
people.
write young women so well.
100 people.
She said something at one
It's
point.
like 4 dozen kids.
It was 4 dozen people. That's too many people to be at a party. She throws a party.
Yeah.
She's like flirting with Christopher in the kitchen while she's cutting carrots. She cuts her finger to the bone and wraps a towel around it. And then I feel like the actual thing that's important to the plot is that she tried to put on a movie that she used her brand new VCR to tape. And it wasn't a movie, it was the news. And she was like, I must have fucked up the setting the VCR to record, so let's just not watch this, and Christopher will take me to Blockbuster while I'm bleeding out, and we'll rent something instead. And I think that's where we left it.
Priorities.
Priorities, for sure. So
that.
I'm so excited.
I'm very excited. Kelly, are you ready to get into this?
I don't know.
Her TV must be huge.
The what?
Her TV must be huge to have 50 people watching a single tube TV in
yeah.
93.
You know it's...
look,
Yeah.
This house couldn't be big enough for that many teenagers if it's owned by one single reverend.
I mean, reverends do be making that
no.
paper, though.
I guess it depends on the church.
Maybe he's stealing from the coffer.
Ooh. All $6 they make. I don't know how big this town is.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're in, like, L.A.
Oh, okay.
Is this where we left off?
Ew, yeah, because I remember
It
Mr.
is
Christopher.
awful.
Oh, ew, yeah. Okay, so I guess Christopher and Rela are going to go on a
She's
date.
delirious from blood loss, so she's finally being direct with him that she likes him.
Yeah. All right, so I'll start, and then we'll go me, Bekah, Chris, and then Kelly. Let me pull this closer, because I'm an old man.
You
I
could
can't
zoom
read.
in.
Oh, I can zoom in more. Yeah, that's better.
The glory of technology.
Chapter 4. The bed was not big enough for me and all the things in my dream. Jesus Christ. Already. I could feel the sheets and blankets constraining me even as I knelt in another room in another place. Christopher's in my dream too, sitting before a computer screen. Why were you kneeling, Rela? I watched from nearby while he pushed a button, and a fantastically complex map of the interior of a human brain flowed out. Together we journeyed along the pathways of the neurons, the synapses firing like miniature bolts of lightning in caves that had never seen the light of day. Caves
My
of consciousness.
synapses are firing with this.
He's painting a picture. Caves of
Very
consciousness that could nevertheless imagine the sun of a galaxy a million light years away. Christopher spoke softly, clearly, yet I couldn't understand everything he said. The brain on the screen pulsed with blood, even as my own heart beat rapidly. The rhythm of the beat filled the room. I already told Bekah the story, but just the word rhythm made me think. I was in the grocery store the other day. You know that song? I think it's Gloria Estefan, but it's like...
The rhythm's gonna
get you. Yeah. So that song was playing in the grocery store, and I was just, like, reaching up to grab something, and this guy walked behind me, singing along to the song, but like this. I couldn't see him. This is what I heard right behind me. Rhythm is gonna get you.
Menacing.
So-
The
It was
menacing
really-
cut.
It was disconcerting. I was like,
hilarious.
Like when they
Threatening.
I was like,
remix,
is it?
like when they remix songs for like horror movies for the trailer, and they just slow it down. It's just like, "Who let the dogs out?"
Yeah, it's like David Fincher's next movie. The trailer is gonna be like, "Rhythm is gonna get you." Okay. The rhythm of the beat filled the room. Like that song, Christopher was showing me the secrets of the universe. He had found them in the most surprising place of all, inside humankind, in the depths of souls. Oh, shut the fuck up.
In his pants.
But somewhere in the journey, I felt I had lost my soul. The room with Christopher and the computer slowly faded and was replaced by a bedroom sparsely furnished.
I don't remember his other book being so pretentious.
No, I don't think it was. The other book was like, I died and here's my ghost boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that book.
that book was great.
I sat there on the edge of a chair before a small table on which lay a vial of green liquid and a brand new syringe. The green solution sparkled as I held it up to the light and stared into its depths.
Morpheus took a pill out of his pocket.
But wait, it sparkled, but not with life. It sparkled as a crystal in a computer circuit would.
You know.
It's just moving on. I knew somehow
The old computer crystal.
Yeah, you know.
You know how
All those
computers work.
crystals inside your computer.
Jam those crystals in.
I knew somehow the solution had something to do with memory, but I didn't know if it stored it or wiped it clean. I stabbed the needle into the vial and drew out the solution. Then I slid the needle into a vein in my arm. As the green fluid poured into my blood, I felt it penetrate my heart, my soul, until all I knew of humanity was lost.
And I became the Green Goblin.
Everything became gray, gray as a winter sky that promised only bitter cold and frost. Then came a long interval where I floated, when I was carried through the air on... This is so fucking hard. My brain doesn't work.
You gotta get those
It's hard to
computer
just
crystals and jam them in there.
start a sentence and read it because it goes in ways that don't make sense. Then came a long interval when I floated, when I was carried through the air on impersonal currents of wind, or perhaps even the even more indifferent arms of machines. Fuck.
What?
I couldn't say which because I couldn't say what I was. Finally, I settled down and cold liquid swelled around me, over my legs and hips, across my chest and arms until it reached my face. The Matrix!
The Matrix. Yeah, I touched that weird goo mirror.
Even here, the liquid did not stop. It covered my face, smothering me and taking away my breath. Yet I didn't resist because I didn't have to breathe. I drank in the cold, became the cold. Time stopped and everything was black. Black as death without meaning. ... I woke up stark naked in my bathtub. The water was
My
turned
kidneys were gone.
on. Morpheus was there. The water was turned on and was running cold and hard. It was
Like my
bubbling over.
penis.
It was bubbling over my lower lip. Another few seconds unconscious and I would have drowned. I coughed and sat suddenly upright. The bathroom was dark, but I could see the goose flesh on my arms and legs. Hold on, I have to borrow again.
This book, man.
What the fuck? I thought she was in bed.
That hurt my fucking brain. Well, she sleep drowned herself.
Yeah.
You hear what the kids are getting into nowadays? Sleep drowning.
All the rage.
Rela, I whispered to myself, you had way too much to drink.
Man,
Yet that
I was
wasn't
really
true.
looking forward to a blockbuster scene.
Me too.
And they just cut right to this.
Like, what movie did they get? What did they have it in stock?
Dangerous
Yeah.
Liaisons.
What was
Did
their
the
second
clerk
choice?
even bother to card them?
Yeah.
What were their
She
last two
slapped her
choices that they...
blockbuster card down covered in blood, and he was like, take it.
Yet that wasn't true. I only drank 2 cans of beer. 2 cans shouldn't have sent me sleepwalking to the bathtub. I clearly remembered climbing into bed with my pajamas on. They had little guns on them. I didn't remember my dream clearly, not at first. Only the green fluid and the long silver needle I had shoved into my vein. So basically, the whole dream. I shivered and climbed out of the tub. I noticed the light in my bedroom was on. Odd, I thought. A few minutes later, I was downstairs in the living room, dry with my blue polka dot pajamas on. Okay,
Not
so they ended up
guns.
describing them. I'd gone downstairs to make myself a glass of warm milk. And by warm milk, I mean whiskey. But settled onto the sofa in front of the TV
No,
instead.
she loves milk. Hot, cold, she loves milk.
Yeah, milk is a code word. She's an alcoholic.
Oh, right.
She puts
Ovaltine.
whiskey in the milk. I had yet to put on a light, but could see the tape resting on top of the VCR clearly enough. The tape that was supposed to have It on it, the horror movie of my childhood, the source of so many of my nightmares. More of my dream came back to me then. I remembered Christopher staring deep into the human
Mentally,
brain.
she's 80.
The feeling
Same.
I'd had watching him, that he could take me there with him, that I, too, could know the secrets of the universe. Weird, I muttered. Where did my subconscious get such ideas? Maybe it was that
I
marathon
don't know,
of
Rela.
Cosmos
Please tell
I
me.
watched. I tried to push the dream aside, but I didn't get up and go into the kitchen. I continued to sit and stare at the tape. For the life of me, I couldn't understand how I had made such a mistake programming the machine. The instructions had been simple enough, and I wasn't a fool. The only thing I could think of was that I had started with the wrong date.
Perhaps there had been a news program on 24 hours earlier, and I had set it to record that instead of the movie. Checking such a hypothesis would be easy. I'd just have to look in the TV guide, yet I didn't feel inclined to do so. I just kept staring at the tape in the dark, wondering why it scared me so. It's just the news, I said out loud. The news is not scary. It's always happening far away and to someone else.
Unless
This
it's
time-
local.
Typical. Bury
Right?
your head in the sand.
This is white privilege at its finest. It couldn't happen here. But this time, I felt like something was happening to me. I was cold still from my unplanned bath and keenly alert. In fact, it had to be 3 or 4 in the morning, and I didn't feel the least bit drowsy. My fear might have been keeping me awake, but I felt there was something else helping. I was excited, I realized. I was excited about the tape. But why? Slowly, I rose from the couch and picked the tape up off the VCR. I had put it there after the last person to leave the party, Stacy, that bitch, was safely out the door. Previous to that, I had quietly sat in the living room with my friends watching Them, an old sci-fi movie about gigantic killer ant-like creatures.
She
It
really,
and them.
Yeah, she's got like one specific type of movie she likes, and it's
Definite
1950s, 1950s, yeah,
Pronouns.
sci-fi movies that are definite articles.
Oh my god.
An old
My third
sci-fi
favorite movie, You, was coming on next.
The sequel, Her.
Her?
Those are both the names of things.
They
oh,
are.
yeah.
I saw Her.
I didn't.
I didn't.
How
Is it
was
good?
it?
Is it
Is
weird?
it the Joaquin Phoenix movie?
Yeah, where he falls in love with his phone or whatever.
That seems like something Joaquin Phoenix would do.
Spike Jonze, I think, directed that. He's from Rockville. If I ever see him walking these
He's from
streets, it's
Rockville?
on sight. I think so. I think he's from Rockville, or I made that up. I'm not sure. Where was I?
I believe
No.
you.
Them, an old sci-fi movie about gigantic killer ant-like creatures. Christopher had been the next to the last person to leave and had promised to call tomorrow. Life was good. Why was I getting so excited about a news tape then? Why not play it and quit talking to yourself, I said out loud. I slid the
haven't
tape into the...
Been talking to yourself.
She said one thing to her.
She said one thing.
No, she's talking to us. She's telling us what happened.
I slid the tape into the VCR, the machine practically snatching it out of my hand. After turning on the TV, I slowly backed away to sit on the couch.
Just before the middle-aged male announcer came on the screen, I remembered more of my dream. The holographic map of the human brain. I wondered whose brain Christopher had chosen to map in my dream.
We never get a good description of a character before they start speaking.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, middle-aged male announcer, before he starts speaking, like, it's just like, oh, that's, like, great notes for how the voice should be.
Oh, yeah.
Before they start talking. Normally
Yeah.
they start talking and we guess, and we
Okay,
have to
well,
figure
here's-
it out as we go.
Okay, I'll do my best guess. Good morning, people! The announcer began. Our top story today. In the Middle East, peace talks between the Arab and Jewish community.
He would not pronounce it that way.
The news.
You know, I heard they've been having problems.
The news droned on. There was nothing special about it. Fighting in Iraq. Space shuttle unable to get a new satellite out of its cargo bay. More people out of work. Snooze. I began to relax, to feel silly. I'd just thrown a wonderful party. For 500 people. Had the guy of my dreams ask me out. Now, it was the middle of the night, and I was sitting on my couch watching a day-old news program. I should have been sleeping, dreaming of what was to happen next in my love life. Only, how old was this news program? The announcer had moved on to sports. It was football season. The Raiders looking good, the man was saying. 21-17 over the Steelers. Down in Miami, the Dolphins suffered a real setback, losing to the last place Patriots, 0-3. Up in Minnesota, the Vikings were incredible, crushing the Redskins, 40-7. I can still say that it's 1993. As I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted, it was football season. The book says, as I was saying, like someone was like, hey, really, shut the fuck
Who
up.
was saying?
She's writing it in her diary.
Rela, I'm gonna let you finish. Naturally, the guy should have been talking about the games that day, yet I was suddenly overwhelmed with an uneasy feeling. It took me a minute to pinpoint why. It was early Sunday morning. I knew football was played on both Saturday and Sunday, but college ball was usually played on Saturday. The pros played on Sunday. Ugh.
Also on Thursday. And Monday.
And Monday, yeah.
And
Rela, you
sometimes
stupid
Saturday.
bitch.
Christopher Pike's like, how are they going to know I love football?
Isn't the Midnight Club a Christopher Pike show?
Yeah. It's Mike Flanagan has like one central story about all these kids in basically like a hospice house, and at midnight they meet and tell each other ghost stories, and that they all write,
and they're all
but
Christopher
they're all
Pike.
different Christopher Pike.
Fuck, I didn't know
stories.
that.
And I think the Midnight Club itself is also a Christopher Pike novel, but as Flanagan does, he takes liberties, and so each of the stories have the actors who are playing the fucking cancer kids in each of the in each of the different separate horror stories, playing like different characters. So the lead in this episode of the Midnight Club is actually a guy, and he is gay, so it's like progressive.
Ooh.
Look out. I don't remember anybody's name though, but I
do
do
wanna
remember how
watch
it
it.
ends, and it's
Yeah.
weird.
I do want to watch it, and like I still will probably watch it, but it's another one of those things where it's like I haven't watched it yet, and it was fucking canceled, so I'm like, ugh.
I
Like,
will
I'll-
say that like it ends like it's an okay one seasoner. There's like basically like one or two questions that you kind of have going in, but you're not like, oh, and now we'll never know about these things. Like it's a pretty like start, middle, and end kind of
Nice.
arc. So
Anybody who makes any show for Netflix should just count on it being like over at the end of every fucking season. If you get 2 seasons, God bless you, but end it at the second season just in case.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yet this announcer was giving out the scores for professional teams as if it were early Monday morning.
Oh,
I realize
Your
sometimes
hand
that
gestures were so helpful.
I realize sometimes that pantomiming so I don't interrupt is more confusing than if I just said, "Hey, do you want a beer?"
If you mime something normal like picking up one beer and drinking it, that's fine. But you were
What did I
like,
do?
you were going like this with 2 hands.
oh, so he's jerking off a lot of dicks.
Yeah.
I can't even hear you guys. I took my headphones off.
Well, you'll hear that joke later. I'm not even going to spoil it for you now, but it was really good.
Yeah, no one does that.
You'll hear that when you're editing, you asshole. I chuckled. So what? I said out loud to myself. I was fond of talking to myself. We fucking noticed. The scores are from last Sunday. Yeah, right, I thought, a tenth of a second later. This bitch is crazy. The news announcer had nothing better to do than report last week's football scores and talk about the games as if they had just happened a few hours earlier. It was time I checked the TV guide. I didn't have to turn on the light as I flipped through it. The glow from the tube was sufficient to read by. In a moment, I found the page for Saturday. It was listed for October 15th, Saturday, 3 a.m. I traced the time slot back day by day, but didn't come to a news program in the time period until October 10th. There would be a news program on at 3 in the morning 2 days after it was supposed to have been shown. Is this our, like, who went to the bathroom when from Remember Me? Like, the fucking time slots of the TV that week? God, fucking where even am I?
And then who was on the balcony?
Yeah. It was supposed to have been shown on October 17th. Indeed, there was a news show on every Monday at that hour. I set the program guide aside and searched for the paper we'd received Saturday morning. The date on it said October 15th. That made sense to me. That was the date I had programmed in when I had set the machine to record it. I knew for a fact I had put in the correct date because I had put it in with the movie schedule sitting on my lap. I didn't comprehend a single word I just said out loud. That was so boring.
Oh no, you got a Bekah page.
I got this. You were getting beer. This is like going over the TV program for the week.
Like explaining how a TV guide works.
Oh no.
Yeah. This was
Which
Try to
maybe
give
people
my
these days
readers all the
don't know.
tools.
This was supposed to be on then, but then I recorded it this. The date at present, because it was already Sunday, was October 16th.
Oh my god, Rela.
But I remembered I had not set the initial date when I had done the movie schedule. I had done that earlier, right after taking the machine out of the box and plugging it in. Then I had run up and down between my bedroom and the kitchen while I cooked dinner for my father and completed the programming. Oh my god.
Was it possible my initial date had been off by a few days? Easy to settle that. I squinted at the date in blue block characters on the upper right-hand corner of the VCR. It read October 18th. There, I said aloud. That was my mistake. I was off by 2 days when I set the date. No worries. Now I can go to bed and dream of Christopher taking me to Paris and the jet he's built in his spare time. I did not
How
ad-lib
old
that.
is she?
Oh my god,
How
I
it is
thought
Thought you did,
I
because I
thought-
wasn't looking, and then I looked and I saw it in the book.
Oh, and
I'm not that good of a writer.
and she said that out loud.
She said all of that out
She
loud.
said all of that out loud.
Oh, but hold on, little girl.
What?
Wait just 1 minute. Maybe wait a couple of days.
What?
I may have made a mistake, I realized, but so had the logical progression of the universe. I still shouldn't have been able to record the news 2 days in advance. So what had happened?
Oh my god.
I had set the machine to record exactly 2 days after the time slot when it was supposed to be on. By chance, news was on then. By chance, I had recorded the news 2 days before the news was supposed to be on.
Still explaining this.
Impossible.
got it.
Yeah.
I whispered. It hit me then, and it hit me hard. I had recorded Monday morning's news. I had taped the future.
Oh my god.
You know, this is why
Hey, that was
Circuit
page
City went out of
42.
business.
Nice.
That's awesome. That was a good page.
Yeah.
What did you say, Kelly?
I said this is why Circuit City went out of business.
Damn faulty VCRs.
Tape in the future.
Always tape in the future.
Sons
Han,
of
the
bitches.
VCR's recording the future again.
All right. Chapter 5. Late Sunday afternoon, I sat with my father and watched the Raiders play the Steelers. I was waiting for Christopher to come over to take me to dinner, and I wanted to see if I'd got a better deal on my VCR than I thought. Christopher had called me around noon to tell me where we were going. Why is that italicized? To tell me?
The
Is
gall.
he controlling? Like, is he in the room with you now?
Right?
It was a restaurant down by the beach. Sounded romantic to me. He was supposed to pick me up at 5, but after he called, all the clocks in the house seemed to be broken because it took forever for the evening to come. I hadn't planned on watching the Raiders-Steelers game, but my father had it on, and I had time to kill, so I ended up watching it from the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Should have put some money down on it.
Right?
Right?
Back to the Future 2
idiot.
rules.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the Midnight Club TV show. I'm pretty sure the first thing they did was bet on a sports game before the
Yeah, because they saw
redacted
Back to the
plot
Future
happened.
Part 2.
The score at that point was 14-0 in favor of the Steelers. I remembered the Raiders were supposed to win 21-17. My confidence in the presentability of my VCR was still high. The fact that the Raiders and the Steelers were playing each other at all was already powerful confirmation I had recorded a future event.
I'm pretty sure they don't decide who plays the game the day of. That's
No.
Well,
I have
that's
time
what
to
she's
kill before my
saying is,
date.
like, it couldn't have been the week before his
I'll
game.
just figure
because
out
they
if
were
my
playing
VCR
it
can
that
tell the
week.
future to kill time. It's the least of my worries, really.
You can read that last sentence, Kelly.
Okay. The Raiders will score 3 touchdowns in the final quarter and win the game 21-7. 17. I said to my father.
He's gonna think that she's like blessed by the
Oh
Lord.
my God.
or
He's
something.
gonna be
It's
like,
gonna
we
be
gotta
that
get you to
episode of The
church.
Simpsons. That episode of Simpsons where Lisa is able to guess who's gonna win the football game, and then Homer makes bets, and then she feels upset about him prioritizing football over hanging out with him, and then he makes a bet on the Super Bowl: if this team wins, my daughter loves me, or whatever the shit. But
Oh my
anyway,
God. That's a throwback. That's an old episode of The Simpsons.
yeah, it's a good one.
It is a good one.
I got a Simpsons tattoo this past year too. I'm
awesome.
Current, comfy and current.
He had been happy that the party had gone well, and I was feeling guilty for asking him not to come home since no one had ended up staying over.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Made him sleep in the rectory. My father looked particularly tired, and I hoped his heart wasn't acting up.
Jesus Christ.
What?
He shook his silver-covered head at my suggestion. He's 91, and I made the bastard sleep on the floor right behind the altar. I was like, cold marble. Jesus will keep you warm, bitch.
Head
Get outta
slapping
here.
against the radiator all night.
Yeah. The way they're playing today, they'll be lucky to get in the end zone once, he said. Do you want to bet on it? I asked. My father was interested. Although he was
gambling problem.
Although he was a Methodist minister, he loved Las Vegas. Gambling of all kinds, particularly blackjack. He was pretty liberal when it came to the rules of the Lord. In fact, he once told me that he believed God had thrown the dice when he created the world.
God rolled a 1.
How much? He asked. $100. You said you spent all your money on your VCR. How are you gonna pay me if you lose? I'm not going to lose.
She better not take $100 from this poor old man.
She definitely is.
Right? His heart is dying.
I want an IOU. I smiled. Fine, but if I win, I want the cash. The cheddar. What kind of odds do you want? What do you mean? You are giving me an exact score, Rela. You deserve better than an even payment if you're correct. I'll give you 10-1 odds. 5-1. 10-1 is better for you. If I lose, I have to pay you $1,000. 5-1. I don't want to take all your money,
You
Pops.
sound like the dad from Coraline.
I know, that's what I'm trying to do.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to do like
Amazing.
Like
the
Dad
other
from Coraline, what's the dude's name? Not Bing Crosby.
John Hodgman?
Well, John Hodgman, but like,
Is John Hodgman the dad from Coraline?
Yeah.
What?
And Terry Hatcher. The
Yeah.
mom. That's all I can offer. Nothing else to contribute.
I shook
Burl
with
Ives.
Burl Ives. I shook with anticipation.
You know, the old John Hodgman, Burl Ives. I'm sorry, go on.
I shook with anticipation. Let's see, what can I buy with $500? Don't count your chickens before they hatch, my father warned. He gestured to the TV. The Steelers are deep in Raider territory again. They'll probably score.
First of all, Rayla, you owe Circuit City money.
Yeah. You should probably pay down your debt.
Yeah, you don't want loan sharks coming after you.
Yeah. A field goal, maybe. It'll be the last time they score. The Steelers scored 2 minutes later, a field goal. The Raiders got the ball. God, I can't wait to read all this sports stuff. There were 12 minutes left in the game. They brought in a new quarterback, some young guy just out of college, talented but green, the announcer said. The new quarterback didn't know that.
Some guy
He
named Tom
marched the
Brady.
Raiders down the field for a touchdown in 4 minutes. The last play being a tightly thrown spiral to a receiver in the corner of the end zone. Score, Steelers 17, Raiders 7. They have to score twice more for you to win, my father said. They don't have time. I think I'll get a new dress. No, 2 new dresses. When's your young man supposed to be here? He asked. 16 minutes and 32 seconds.
Oh my God, Rayla.
My father smiled. You really like this guy. You'll love him. He's the smartest guy in the school. He's cute, too. A real hug. You know how you talk to your dad.
Yeah. You'll love him being a priest and all.
Yeah, you'll love this hunky teen boy. You'll love him, Spence. I can't believe she hasn't called him Spence yet.
Oh, shit.
My father laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was calling him Spence before.
His name's like Reverend Spencer Jeremiah
Reverend Spencer?
the Fifth or something like that. But she's like, I call him Spence because I'm a noir detective.
My father laughed. Sounds like love. Then his face fell as he looked at the TV. The Steelers just fumbled the ball on the kickoff. The Raiders recovered it on the Steelers' 10-yard line. I rubbed my hands together in anticipation. Another touchdown coming up. I think I need a new coat for winter.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, a trench coat.
Money, money,
Because
money.
I'm a detective.
Yeah, see?
Do you have a coat? My father asked seriously. I stared at the TV. I don't think so. I'll buy you one. I smiled faintly. I'll be able to get my own
She
soon.
doesn't have a coat?
Right? It's California.
Rela? Yes? How are you doing? Good. Everything's all right at school? Yes, I'm getting all A's. You know I'm very proud of you.
Stop
I
changing
know.
the subject, Spence.
I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you too, Spence. All the work you do for the homeless, Spence. I wish I had time to help out, Spence. Why don't you come down to the mission sometime? It's hard, I said, with school and my job at the library.
Forgot she worked at the library.
Out of the corner of my eye, I could see my father watching me. Is there anything you want to talk about, Rela? He asked. No, definitely not demonically possessed VCRs. If you ever want to talk, I'm always here. I know.
You're
The
doing a
Raiders
good
scored.
job with that voice. I just wanted to
Oh, thank you. The Raiders scored a touchdown a couple minutes after recovering the fumble. The Steelers got the ball back but couldn't do anything with it. They had to kick off to the Raiders with 5 minutes left. The score was Raiders 14, Steelers 17. Once more, the Raiders began to march up the field, taking their time, using up the clock so their next score would be the last one.
My father began to grow uncomfortable. I can't believe this is happening, he said. I should have a better stereo, I said. New CDs. Christopher arrived when the Raiders were on the Steelers' 4-yard line and there were 12 seconds left. I ran to the door, opened it, as opposed to not, grabbed him by the arm, and dragged him into the living room to see the climactic play. My father was to be forgiven for hardly glancing at Christopher. Here it goes, my father muttered. All 500 of it, I agreed. Who's playing? Christopher asked. Shh, we both said.
Shut the fuck up.
593 gets you a lot of CDs.
Yeah.
Especially if you join that Columbia Records deal. 90s reference. The ball was hiked. The young green quarterback, who was looking more and more like Joe Montana, faked a handoff to his running back and rolled to the right. He had a man open in the corner of the end zone again. Zip! The pass was high, but the receiver could jump. Touchdown. Time expired. The game was over. 21-17. Exactly. Yes, I shouted, jumping off my seat. $500. My father buried his head in his hands. I have a bona fide psychic living in my house. Cash, I said to my father, slapping him on the back. I want cash.
Jesus Christ. He's a priest.
Fleecing your priest father,
Right?
Rela.
My
Fuck.
God. He's not like Joel
Adopted father.
Osteen or whatever his name is.
Right,
It's not a
exactly.
sin.
Yeah.
It's not a sin if it's your adopted father.
Oh, okay.
Not a
I'm
sin to
Jewish,
fleece your
so
adopted father.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish. I need this explained to me, so
Yeah,
thank you.
these are how the Methodists do it, Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Culture shock. Did you two gamble on the game or what? Christopher asked. It wasn't a gamble, I said. It was a sure thing. My father stared up at me with a strange expression on his face. He didn't care about the money. I knew. I wasn't even going to take it from him if he did offer to give it to me.
He only cared
Sounded
about
like
my
it.
salvation.
You're just spending it.
You're just, yeah.
He's gonna fucking do an exorcism on her. I don't think she's possessed.
Good. It was all in fun. At least that's what I thought. Yet there was fear on my father's face. How did you know the score? My father asked. I stopped bouncing around and shrugged. It was just a guess. He continued to watch me. It was a hell of a guess, he said. And I can say that. I'm a
Oh, yeah.
priest.
It isn't Burl Ives, it's Bing Crosby.
It is Bing Crosby. That was what I thought at first, and I was like, that's not right. Okay.
I don't really know what he sounds like. I just like that he sounds like the other father.
Yeah. Christopher drove us to the Oceanside restaurant, which was exquisite and situated on a hill directly above the crashing waves. Christopher had made reservations, and we were led to a table by the window. A candle flame shimmered between us. The sun had recently set over the watery horizon. I pleased Christopher
Ew.
by telling him he could order for me.
I don't like
Picked
any
you
of that.
yet? God.
I don't care what I eat as long as I don't care what I eat as long as I don't care what I eat as long as it's expensive. That was hard for me to say.
And he and that pleased him. That sentence.
And he was like, "Cool." I said, "Then you should have the lobster," he said with a smile. For the first time, I noticed how curious his smile was. Even though he was young, his smile seemed somehow ancient and sad. You know, curious.
Why is this so creepy?
I don't know.
Is he like an immortal alien or something?
He's the eternal enemy. I told him what I thought. What?
That his smile was ancient and sad? Apparently.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess I told him that I thought his smile was ancient and sad.
It's what everyone wants to hear on a first date.
Yeah.
I have the weight of the world on me, he joked. You mean that? He shrugged. No. I nodded. You feel as if you're destined for great things. I just feel hungry, Rela. I had a dream about you, I said suddenly. I had a dream about you, I said suddenly. He was interested. I could tell because he gave me his cue. He always raised his left eyebrow, like The Rock, when his interest was piqued. Oh, or like Mr. Spock on Star Trek. Oh.
Or like anyone with eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it, stud.
Stud.
We were sitting together in what looked like your study. You were older. You had a computer beside you and you were showing me an internal map of a brain. My voice faltered. Go on, he said. I turned my head to the right, in the direction of the ocean. The window beside us was open and I could feel the gentle tug of the salty breeze on my bare arms. I don't know why I suddenly turned to peer out into the darkening blue. A wave of cold swept over me and I drew in a breath, which only made me tremble. I swallowed heavily. I can't remember more, I said, lying. Rela? I forced a smile. Yes. Are you all right? Yes. Actually, I wanted to tell you about that VCR I bought. It's amazing. Again, my voice faltered. Chris waited for me to continue. I forced another smile. I wanted to tell him about what had happened. I'd been dying to, but all at once I didn't want to. I just felt that it would be a mistake, a dangerous mistake. Yes, I sensed danger, but I wasn't sure if I sensed it emanating from him or from myself. It makes incredible tapes, I said finally. Oh, they're so incredible. He visibly relaxed. Did it show up later on the tape? No. There was just the news. My voice sounded false. That's all there was. The waitress came and Chris ordered, and we spoke about other things. School, college, music. I was surprised to learn he could play the piano.
I was fairly accomplished on the instrument myself. I've been known to tickle the ivories from time to time. My father would sometimes ask me to play him some Bach before he went to bed at night. He said it soothed his nerves. Christopher was impressed that I could read music. Where did you learn? My grandfather taught me, I said, my real one. As opposed to the fake one? I hesitated. I'm adopted. The revelation shocked him, as it had Stacy. So you know who your real parents are? He said. No, but you know your grandfather? He asked. Well, it's a long story. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. It's in the past, and it's boring. The waitress was bringing our food. I'd rather eat. So we ate our dinner, and I discovered a few small things about Christopher that reassured me that I could live at the Lobster.
Oh. Did it say that?
Yeah.
It suggested it.
Oh, right.
So we ate our dinner, and I discovered a few small things about Christopher that reassured me that I could live happily ever after with him. He had good manners. He didn't chew with his mouth open or talk while he was chewing. Also, he wasn't in love with himself. He had confidence, extraordinary faith in his abilities actually for someone still in high school, but he quietly accepted his intelligence as a gift rather than as something to set him above other kids. He also seemed to be interested in me, a quality I prized in him above all others.
Oh my god.
Relatable.
I love the fact that you love me.
Oh my god. That's
Since it
number
was
one in
Sunday-
my book.
You never dated anyone that you realized later that you only liked the fact that they liked you?
Oh, 100% when I was a teenager, which I guess she is.
Since it was Sunday night and we both had school and work the next day, Christopher took me straight home from the restaurant. I was disappointed at his sensible approach.
Instead
Clearly.
of like fooling around with you
Yeah.
in the car in front of your minister dad's house.
I wanted him to take my virginity.
Oh god. Remind me what Christopher's accent is again.
Gavin from Kids in the Hall.
Oh, okay.
These kids from school? Yeah.
Yeah. I invited him in as we pulled into the driveway. He declined. I have to fix a couple of VCRs before I go to bed, he said. I think I'll try programming mine to tape something in the middle of the night, I said. The middle of tomorrow night, I thought.
Good one.
He
Rela.
reached out and he reached out and touched my left shoulder. He hadn't
Sploosh.
touched me all night, not even my hand. I had fun tonight, he said. I smiled. It was magic. He laughed. I never know when you're kidding. I touched his hand. I'm not always, you know. I had a good time too. We should get together again. I work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but otherwise I'm around. Give him your whole fucking schedule, why don't you?
Right.
Jesus. Whatever happened to, like, you know, wait 3 days before you call or pretending that you're busy and like, other people want to spend time with you? Jesus. Have some mystery, Rela. Maybe we could do something next weekend, he suggested. Yeah. Next weekend sounded like 1,000 years away. Little did I know I would feel like I had aged 1,000 years by the time Wednesday arrived. Or this
yeah,
Tuesday
she was
night
doing
would
that
be
earlier
good.
in the book.
Yeah.
Like,
Talking about, like, time.
yeah.
Time and memories.
All the shit she was going to go through.
Yeah.
Fortune telling VCR I can get behind, but two people dating, just being upfront with each other right from the get go, that's just not believable
Yeah.
at
This is
all.
not plausible
I call
at all.
shenanigans.
Tell at least one lie. Come on. He squeezed my shoulder, his smile broadening. I'll try to get free for Tuesday. What would you like to do? See a movie? 2 movies? How do you like your popcorn?
Rare.
Dry, plain, without butter.
Ew.
What?
That better be one of her
That
patented
has to be a
terrible
lie.
jokes.
That has to be a lie. It's better with more goop.
Wait, hang on. It gets weirder.
Oh no.
Say the
All right,
words,
Rela.
Kelly.
Yes. No, don't make me. How do you like your girls? I died this day. The same.
Dry.
I sneered. Plain like
Dry
me,
being
right?
the first
Dry?
fucking descriptor.
I like my girls dry, plain, and without butter.
I honestly just want a cup of the butter that, like,
Yeah.
not the
Just dip
popcorn
each
comes in.
kernel in individually.
Yes, the popcorn at the movies is just a receptacle for that chemical butter. Like,
100%.
what is wrong with this girl?
Oh, so much.
All right,
That
Oh,
butter
bubble
that was
smooth.
never solid.
never. The chemicals won't let it.
Oh my god.
He kissed me then, suddenly, quickly. It was little more than a peck, but it made my entire life worthwhile. Oh.
Oh no.
I like a little salt,
Ew.
he said as he drew back.
I read ahead and I want to barf.
He looked so cute. kind of like a Christmas package that I wanted to tear the wrapping off of to see what was inside. I wanted to see his insides, but I knew that would have to wait.
I hope they were dry and plain.
Good night, Mr. Christopher, I said, opening my car door. Good night, girl
My mom
genius.
said that to me once.
He said, he saw my confusion. That's your nickname at school, he shrugged. You and I have the same one. I don't know
People
if that
call
means
him
anything.
Girl Genius.
People call me Girl Genius. It's really hurtful. I leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. I know.
What?
He
I
Han
don't know.
Solo'd you.
Yes, you did. Chapter 6.
Oh, God.
Another nightmare. Another horror. But I saw more than I felt. Had I felt everything, my mind would have split in two, yet I suffered enough. God, yes.
Jesus Christ.
I love how she's just like, let's go on a date, go to a restaurant. I'll eat some lobster and we'll go see a movie. And then when she's alone, she's just like,
God.
all the horrors.
God, how I've suffered.
God, how I've suffered.
I think I'm allergic to lobster. I've been getting weird dreams.
I've been monologuing like a motherfucker in my head. They took me out of the freezing bath. They, faceless shadows with strong arms. They carried me to the orange room filled with the cold steam. The reclining chair with the white sheets waited for me, but the sheets were not brand new as I had believed at first. They were already stained with drops of blood. The faceless figure set me down carefully. I felt the slight bump, yet I couldn't feel my skin. It seemed that I had only empty space to cover me. The chair was highly mechanized. Braces rose and then lowered to clamp down on my head and waist and ankles, immobilizing me. Motors whirled, and the chair elongated into a bed as it slowly revolved in space. Finally, you ever seen Event Horizon? It's about to get like that. Finally, I was strapped and held in an upright position before a wide, blank computer screen. Then a large section of the back of the chair, or the bed, if you will, was removed, and I could feel icy fingers probe my spine. It was then I realized I was being made ready for an operation. Have fun.
Yet they gave me no anesthetic. They were just going to start cutting. I heard a high whining like that of a dentist drill. The shadows at the edge of my vision moved closer. The sound went into my back, no pain. But blood began to drop onto the smooth white floor below me. My blood. I screamed but made no sound. The computer screen came on. It showed an internal map of the spinal cord, millions of microscopic nerve fibers twisted together to form one living rope. Yet the cord looked dark. The miniature saw whined as it cut through the length of my back, and I could feel metal rods being inserted along it. Then there came a horrendous yank, followed by a moist tearing sound. They had torn my spine from my body. My screams,
Predator?
my screams blazed in my frozen soul like flames through a crystal cage.
What?
I quit. I'm not fucking doing this anymore.
It sounds like Dio
Done.
lyrics.
Yeah, we've moved on from Morrissey to like metal.
Fuck. Chris should be like screaming all of the words of this page. But the cave remained cold and the shadows moved around in front of me. The computer screen switched to the map of my brain. Yes, it was my brain they had mapped, not Christopher's.
Oh,
I thought of him then, and I cursed him. Why hadn't he been able to spare me this agony? Jesus.
It's your fault.
A cat did something scary in the other room.
Cats!
Fuck off! Sorry.
Stop scaring us!
No. Oh my god, a steel blade glistened in the orange light before me. This is brutal. A gloved hand pressed it onto the top of my skull. Wait, the blade... Okay, yep. This I could feel, the metal teeth fastening into my skin. They began to saw. The noise, the blood, the sorrow of it all.
Yeah, sorrow.
Yet my eyes, they must have left those intact. I watched as the eye of the computer screen took me deeper into my brain, even as the indifferent fingers probed the underlying layers of my gray tissue. I should have been reading it dramatic that whole time. That was more fun.
My God.
What the fuck?
These chapters, she's not a private eye, she's Lance Henriksen. Here it was all so dark. No synapses with shooting molecular bolts of lightning. Not a single neuron glowed with the memory of days spent beneath the sun. The pathways of consciousness were as silent as my pleas for help. There was life, yet not life as I knew it. Not life as God had created it at the beginning of time. I saw a flash of silver. It was horrible. I hate silver.
I'm more of a gold kind of
It was
girl.
It was the seed of the curse. It was the seed of the curse. That I knew for a fact.
What?
Even if the shadows did not. Yet it was also brilliant. The seed could reveal the secrets of the universe. It was my destiny to know them all. Jesus, I whispered as I sat upright in bed. That got dark. My room was bright.
Awesome.
The light.
That's
My
fucking
room was
great.
bright.
Jesus,
the
I
light was
whispered.
on. Had I forgotten to turn it off before sleeping? I never did that. I was in bed, dry, like Christopher preferred, not sitting in the bathtub. I could hear my heart pounding, my labored breathing. Down the hall, my father snored peacefully. The house was otherwise silent. Before me, on the far side of the room, sat the dark screen of my TV. On top of it rested my VCR. I had set it to record the late news for the following day. I couldn't tell if the machine had done anything yet. I picked up the remote beside my bed and pushed the rewind button. I didn't expect anything to happen. I had put a new tape into the machine before going to bed, and if nothing had been recorded, the tape should have been at the beginning. Yet the tape began to rewind inside the machine. I remembered every detail from my dream. I trembled on my bed. A minute passed.
The tape stopped rewinding. I pushed play. The news came on. A different announcer. These are all like half sentences.
Yeah.
I want to complain about the grammar really quickly. A woman, period. Pretty, period. Great hair, period. Where's the verb, Rela?
She got very, what's that fucking dumb
Hemingway?
author? Hemingway.
A different
Go back
announcer.
in time
A woman,
and
pretty, great hair,
sock that
huge
guy.
tits, long legs.
She's a noir
Something
detective.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Good evening, she said. In the news tonight, Saudi Arabia is protesting the recent loan guarantees to Israel, saying the Israelis have not contributed substantially to the peace negotiations going on. And I listened for 15 minutes before I learned that I had recorded the news over 24 hours before it was to be broadcast. It taped while I slept, I said aloud, just like before. The baseball playoffs were on. The Oakland A's were playing the Toronto Blue Jays on Monday night. The announcer gave me the score of the game. I wrote it down and went back to sleep. No more dreams. For now.
That was a really good Lakshmi Singh impression.
Thank you.
That was a baseball team?
From NPR, I'm Lakshmi Singh.
That's a really boring... Here, Kelly, you can read this one,
Yeah,
too.
the A's.
The A's?
I'm
Yeah.
Jack Spear.
It's just that A doesn't stand for anything?
I can't remember. Is it the Angels?
Athletics.
Or is it, oh, the Athletics. You're right.
Wait, are you
Oakland
fucking serious?
Athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? I'm gonna start a fucking team just called, like, The Sports.
I
No, just
I
like
liked
The
the
Sports.
Washington football team for that
yeah, I
reason.
wish they had left
I was
it.
sad when they actually picked a name.
Yeah.
Oh, did they pick a name?
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're the
the
Commanders.
Yeah,
I
it
liked
should
the
have stayed
Washington
Washington
football team better.
That's
So
really-
much better.
That's funny.
The world was a better place when they were called. the
Their logo
Washington
could have
wish
just
they
been a
had-
football. Just a picture of a football on all their helmets. What do you guys do?
Because, like, when they were called the Washington football team, it was just like, yeah, things suck now, but there's still hope. And then now that they're the Commanders, it's just like, no, things still suck. There's no hope.
Yeah. You
We're
decided,
all-
Just still
and you
bad.
decided bad.
Like, everything's still bad.
We We should name football teams the way we named Bodie McBoatface.
Yes.
Put it up to a vote on the internet.
Footy McFootball.
And let the monsters decide.
You can only
love
spell
it.
dick so many ways.
We can get more creative. Don't worry.
Isn't it your turn?
Oh, no, it's
Still me.
still.
oh.
It was a half page.
Chapter 7. I didn't go to school on Monday. I drove to Las Vegas instead
What?
to bet on the ponies.
Oh, my.
Oh, wait, actually,
Yeah, that's why
It
she's
took-
going.
it took me 4 hours. I wanted to bet on the A's, Blue Jays game, and I knew such gambling was illegal in Los Angeles. Since I didn't have a bookie,
Not a big
Vegas was
overlook.
my only choice. Before I left, I asked my father for the $500. He was surprised by my request. Although he said he'd had every intention of honoring his bet, I promised him I'd give him the money back that evening. We had to drive to the bank to get the cash. I figured I'd need cash in Vegas. My father was a gem. He didn't even ask me what I needed the money for. He told me to keep it, that I'd want it fair and square.
He's like, definitely an abortion.
How good's this reverend doing if, like, he's just handing his kid $500
He's like, I'm
in
good for
93?
it. Yeah.
Right.
That's like $8,000 now.
The drive across the desert passed uneventfully. I had never been to Las Vegas before, and I must say I loved everything about it. The size of some of the hotels blew me away. I'd heard good things about the Mirage, so I went there first. The casino was fairly empty when I entered. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I asked a woman refilling a slot machine where I could bet on the game, and she directed me to an area where there were numerous giant screen TVs with rows of empty seats set out before them, sort of like a miniature theater, or better yet, arena.
Now that's just the inside of what every casino looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just nothing but screens.
What is she 18, I guess? Did she
I
say
think
her
so.
age?
I don't remember. Let's just pretend and hope that she is.
Like, I know.
Vegas does have rules. It doesn't seem like it, but it does.
Well, I know. I was just
Especially if they're
say,
going to give you money.
I kind of.
Christopher Pike's just like, I've never been.
I was just thinking, like, can you go to a casino if you're 18, or do you have to be 20? I feel like you have to be 21 because it's
Yeah.
very.
I'm pretty sure it's 21.
I think it's 21 because you can just. They'll give you drinks. Like.
Well, they'll give you drinks if you sit at a table for a while to play a table
Yeah.
game. You can just fucking walk in anywhere and sit down at a slot machine. It's not like they card you to get in the
That's
door.
true.
Or card you to walk up to the
Yeah.
slot machine.
But they do also bring you free drinks at the slot machine.
I guess if you park there for a
Yeah.
while, but it's not like they just pop up right
and then
away.
you tip well, and they come back around a lot.
The internet does say you have to be 21 years or older, but
that's
it's
what I
entirely
thought.
possible that legislation passed between this time
Yeah,
period.
that's true.
And I don't know what it was like back in the 90s, but I think you could probably spend a decent amount of time bopping around slot machines before somebody caught you and realized you weren't 21.
Yeah. Just curious. So that was the main thing I was thinking was like,
It's
wait, how
like a
old is
fucking
she?
free-for-all in there. I don't
Yeah.
know. The last time I went to Vegas last year, I just I just remember walking into a cloud of cigar smoke
Yes.
at 8:30
Oh
in
my
the morning. I
God,
was like, oh my
yes.
God,
Yeah.
I forgot I'm in Vegas.
Yeah. That's usually the first thing that hits me is like, oh, right, you can smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
That's a
and
weird
everyone is
sensation.
smoking and drinking every
second
24
of every
hours
day.
a day.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Just you come out of the elevators and it's just like ding 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 ding.
Cool to see
Noise
once.
everywhere.
Not really again.
What?
It's cool to see once, but
Yeah.
not really again.
It's only fun if you're basically rich. Like if it's
I'd like to go with friends and not just go for
Go
work
for
with
work.
people that I don't know very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
just
want to
go
go
to-
back. I want to see like the old part of Vegas.
Yeah,
I
fun. That's
I
fun.
went there once with coworkers and it was really fun, but I'd like to go there again with friends just so I can enjoy it more. The last time I was there, which was only the second time I was there, I didn't go at all. But Old Vegas is really cool.
Yeah, and there's
And I
some
want to go
Let's
to Omega
go.
Mart.
Omega Mart. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say there's some cool not gambling stuff to see in
man.
Vegas, and Omega Mart's fucking awesome. You could spend a
I have
day.
no
Pandemic.
idea what that is, but I'm in.
Oh, Kelly, look up Omega Mart after this episode. And you're gonna shit your pants.
The pandemic ruined buffets.
Were they
I'm
that
okay
great to
with
begin
that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm fine with that. If we had to lose
I was
one
wary of them pre-pandemic.
Oh, Vegas had good buffets.
A number of horse races were presently being televised on the screens. There was a counter. Oh, she is betting on the ponies.
Was there anything about the ponies on her VCR?
No, I guess not. There was a counter on the right side, boxed in with metal bars. A grizzly old man in a hotel uniform looked at me as I stepped up to the counter. "Looking for your parents?" he asked. I had on a black dress, and I had put my hair up to make me look older. I knew you had to be 21
No, see,
to
we
gamble
should
in
have just
Vegas.
read ahead instead of going on a tangent.
All right.
Although I liked our tangent. That was fun.
It was fun. I
Also, I looked up Omega Mart. I want to go real bad.
Dude, it's
Yes.
fucking amazing.
It looks
Yeah.
so fun.
I've never been. John went. It looks cool as shit. I'm so
It's
jealous.
Super cool.
Okay,
Now I gotta
Becca, we're
look it up.
going. We're
Hell
going
yeah.
to Vegas.
No boys allowed.
What?
Just
No
kidding, Mark.
boys.
You can come.
I want to go back.
Well, we'll just go at the same time.
Yeah, separate boy girl trip.
Yeah.
Here's my quick story that I'll tell about going to Omega Mart. So I went on a work trip, and before we went to Omega Mart, we went to a dispensary because it's legal. You
Yeah.
can buy weed there. So I got
yes.
some chocolate covered blueberries because I like the edibles. I don't like to smoke anything. And
You did that before going to this place? I'm looking
Okay.
at pictures now.
they
Right? It already looks so trippy.
they did nothing. I had like one, I think, because they were 5 milligrams each, and for me, 5 milligrams usually is enough to like a little bit knock me on my ass. And I don't know what the deal was. I don't know what the deal was with it.
Their
It just, like,
slogan is "You have no idea what's in store."
they did
That
nothing.
is genius.
But so here's what happens: we get to the place, we get in line, we already bought the tickets, and we had all bought weed at the dispensary. So as we're going in, we have to take everything out of our pockets, and we get like wanded for metal, whatever. And the guy looks at our hands, and he's just like, "You can't bring that in here. You can't bring any weed in here at all." And
You were holding it in your hands?
well, we had to take everything out of our pockets.
Oh.
So I'm holding my phone and my keys and everything in my
Your
hands, and my tin of chocolate covered blueberries. So my coworker in front of me,
A handful of blueberries.
my coworker in front of me who has a tin full of joints, he's like, "You can't take that," and so he's like, "All right," and he throws it in the trash can. And my next coworker does the same thing, and the guy was like wanding him, and he's like, "You can't bring that in here, but just go outside. There's like a bunch of bushes. Just put it in a bush and like go in and like have fun, and then when you leave, you can just like grab it." So my other coworker reached into the trash can, grabbed the joints and shit that my other coworker had thrown out, ran outside, and I was like, maybe I'll get away with it because it looks like mints or something. I don't know. So he does the same thing to me. He's just like, "You can't bring that in here. Go throw it in the bushes." So I go out into just like the fucking bright light of day in Vegas into a parking lot full of people. There's no bushes anywhere. I'm like walking around like looking
Shove
like
it
a
into
lunatic.
cactus. There's just a hollowed out
So I
cactus
found
out there
like
full of pot.
like
Bury it in a
200
hole.
feet away, I found like a spiky ass bush of thorns, and I just chucked it in there, and I was like, all right, whatever.
The guy with the watch just laughing.
And I
There
went.
ain't no bushes out there.
Also, yeah, it was also like super fucking
Stupid
hot, and this
kids.
chocolate covered blueberries. I'm like, these things are fucked. I don't care, whatever. I guess it was $20 down the drain. So I go in, and we have a really great time. We're there for a couple hours. I was not high at all, which was a little bit of a bummer. But then when we left. We spent like 15 minutes just wandering the parking lot trying to find the weed that we had
Trying
bought.
to find the right bush.
Trying to find the right bush, and I found my bush, and I was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, no, I see it. And I fucked up my hand because it was all thorns. So I was like shoving my hand in this spiky bush and like ripping up my hand just to get these stupid things back.
The trap from Saw.
That was my Omega Mart story.
I love it.
Okay, so the grizzled old man said, looking for your parents. I had on a black dress, but my hair would make me look older. I knew you had to be 21 to gamble in Vegas. I also knew the rule was seldom strictly enforced. My daughter, I said smoothly and smiled. What? Oh, looking for your
looking
parents.
for her daughter.
My daughter. The man appraised me closely, and I returned the favor. He had so many lines on his face, he could have lain out in the sun with the cacti on his lunch breaks.
Lane?
What? What does that mean? Okay.
He had so many lines on his face, he could have lain out in the sun with a cacti on his lunch breaks. It's just saying he's got a really lined face.
He wasn't frail, though. The muscles under the skin on his bare arms were firm. His hair was dark. I could tell he dyed it, but still he had plenty of it. Do you want to fuck him now,
Right.
Rela? He pulled an unlit cigar from the corner of his mouth and knotted up my purse.
Are you here to place a bet?
He said. Yes.
How old are you, young lady?
Oh, he's Mike Ehrmantraut. 21. He scowled. My ass. I beamed. Your ass is 21 too? What month was it born? He sighed.
Oh, brother. Do you have any ID?
How often do you ask for ID?
Never. But you've already pissed me off. Where's your driver's license?
I don't have one, but I have $500 in cash. I want to bet on tonight's baseball game. He looked more interested.
Do you like baseball?
Drove 4 hours without a license?
Right.
She is not right in the head.
She is wild. She seems so timid at first, but she's like fucking wild.
She's super crazy.
She makes me feel like I make good decisions, and I do not.
She's
listen
definitely
to her.
like your friend that you'd be out with and would say like, let's take a cop's gun.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm a big fan of the A's. God was in a good mood the day he invented baseball, the man said. Are you here with your parents? Nope. I'm sorry to say that they've both already died of old age. I put my arms on the countertop and leaned in closer toward him. I'm filthy rich, I said confidently. You don't have to worry about me losing my money. He snorted. I'm worried about losing my job. You have to be 21 to place a bet here. I am 21. I withdrew the 5 $100 bills from my purse, letting him see them. You have my word of honor. You want to put all of that on the A's? Nope, I'm betting against them. They're going to lose tonight 9-1. I want to wager that as the exact score, and I want odds. I can tell you what the odds on that would be right now. He turned to a chalkboard behind him that was lettered with columns and rows of numbers. 48-1. Damn. I did a little mental arithmetic. Are you saying if I bet this $500 and win, you will pay me $24,000? No, those are straight odds. We will automatically take 10% off that amount. If you wager $500 that the Blue Jays will win 9-1 over the A's, and if you're right, we'll pay you $21,600.
No deal.
How did we log on to the Zoom meeting for a math lesson?
Holy
Thank you.
shit.
I pushed the money forward. I'll take it. He pushed the money back. That's a fool's bet. I told you, I'm a rich fool.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
He put his cigar back in his mouth. What's your name? Rela. I'm Bob. He offered me a hairy
Chris,
hand
you can't
through
do the
the
same
bars.
voice for both characters.
Yes.
I'm
I only got
Rela.
so much range.
Bob.
I'm shipping them now.
Pleased to meet you, Bob. I told you not to worry about me or your job. If I lose, I lose. I won't make any fuss. If I win, it's pennies to me. How did you come up with that score, Rayla? I'm psychic. He leaned forward. If he hadn't been so old, I would have thought he was the Marlboro Man himself. The smell of tobacco in his breath was incredible.
Ew.
What? I've been in this business a long time, he said. I've met a lot of psychics.
That's a good
They
Mike
usually
a really
end
good
up
Mike
at
Ehrmantraut.
Gamblers Anonymous flat broke. You're gonna lose that $500 as sure as a snake spits in the desert. And you're not rich, Rayla. I can tell by looking at you.
Do snakes spit?
I was insulted. How could you tell?
Her
Your
teeth.
shoes. It's always the shoes. Where did you get them, Kmart? J.C. Penney's. On sale. Look, Bob, accept my bet. If I win, I'll buy you dinner. We can get drunk together. Are you old enough to drink? I held his eye, his one eye that I could actually tell was looking at me. I have an inside tip on this game. I can't explain it to you. You just have to believe me. Take my bet and make a bet of your own. He may have been impressed with my earnestness. He sighed again and stared at my money. You sure this won't break you? He asked. I've got it covered. Bet with me. It'll be the best bet you ever made.
Bet. Sorry, I'm borrowing the book again.
How often do you have to borrow it?
Once every hour.
Oh, God.
Which is a horrifying reminder of how long we read these things.
Editing it? Is it a horrifying reminder?
Oh, I don't edit these at all. I find the part where I say hello and welcome to below grade level, and then I skip to the part where we all go bye, and then I do 1 cut, 2 cut. That's it.
You can now recognize where that moment is by the sound wave.
This I actually I can. That's one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast, because we get drunk and have a lot of fun, and then I barely have to do anything to make it go on the internet.
Beautiful.
Did I mention that we get drunk?
This is water.
That's a pretty can for water.
Yeah. It's a grapefruit hibiscus session cider.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
It's quite good.
Speaking of, would you like another beer?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm so sleepy.
Alright. I'd have to go to another casino to place a bet on the game. I can't do it here. For the first time, he regarded me seriously. How good is your tip? As good as gold. 9-1 will be the score. You can't predict that. No one can. I'm telling you the truth. Do I look crazy? I like dry popcorn.
Yeah.
Is that...
I like cookies and boys.
Would a
and I
crazy
know the
person
scores.
laugh like this?
You sound crazy, Rela. Then he relaxed and shrugged his shoulders. Maybe I'll put 20 on it just to please you. Put 100 on it, I said firmly. He shook his head. This town attracts all kinds.
Here's my thing about this situation that she's got herself into. Obviously, you've got a VCR that can tell the future, and it's like, yeah, let's bet on it. Let's do it. But wouldn't you just like test it a couple of times, not once, like before going to fucking Vegas and putting $500 down on whatever those odds were? Like, if she loses, does she lose just the 500, or does she owe a fuckload of money?
No, I think you just lose.
You just lose the 500.
the money.
So like that.
I've
would suck.
only ever played slot machines though, so
Yeah.
you know.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I guess maybe if I was 18, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. But maybe it's the 38-year-old in me talking, or like, you know,
That's why they post those big odds, though, because it gets people to pour money into
Yeah,
it, and they're just like, these suckers aren't gonna win.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, I would wait a couple. I would, tape the news every fucking night, and see what happens. And then maybe after a week, I'd go to Vegas. Not like immediately just fucking go to Vegas.
Well, we're also not just 4 hours away.
That's true. Could go to Atlantic City, though.
Yeah.
That's only like... No, I guess it's like 4 hours away, right?
2.5, 3.
It's less than 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad a drive. Later, when the sun had set and the strip was ablaze with lights, I returned to the Mirage to collect my winnings. I figured Bob would be off work, but I found him waiting in one of the chairs arranged in front of the giant TV screens. He jumped up when he saw me. I don't know why I did it, he said, but I put my whole paycheck on your hunch. I was delighted. How much did you make? He was excited. Almost as much as you did. That's really sad.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh no. That's... How often do you get paid, Bob? Oh, okay.
Here to collect your money. You got that slip I made out for you? Yeah, I didn't lose it. I fished it out of my pocket and I handed it to him. He moved toward the counter. I'm not on the job right now, but I'll see to it that you get your money promptly, he said. He called for a young man in the back and handed him the slip and whispered something in his ear. Bob turned to me. I assume you want cash? Yes. Will hundreds be okay? Perfect.
Damn, Rela. He gestured. I thought that was going to be it. He gestured to the other guy who disappeared in the back. Bob stepped close and put his arm around me. Oh,
Yeah.
Bob. He had brushed his teeth or gargled since we talked earlier. His breath was mint fresh. He had on nice clothes, too. How did you do it? He asked. Can't tell you. Come on. Nope. That's your one tip. You can torture me and you won't get it out of me.
Don't suggest things.
He laughed.
I knew you were going to say that. Did you know I quit my job? I'm leaving town tonight. flying back to New York for a long holiday. I changed my voice once I
What?
found out I was from New York.
So wait.
He
What?
also he put his paycheck. He made a bet with his paycheck and made almost as much as she did.
And that was enough to quit his job?
Apparently.
$24,000 in 1993 was like $1 million now.
I don't think that's right.
That's home. Mind if we have dinner? Mind if we have that dinner another time?
Thank God.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I have to drive back to L.A.
so
But you have to
scared.
tell me,
I know.
why did you listen to me? I never thought you'd risk so much. My question puzzled him. He took his arm from my shoulder, stepped back, and got a funny look in his eye. He was happy, but he was afraid.
There's just something about you, Rela.
Was all he would say.
Did you have your spine replaced with the robot recently?
Did you have a dream where you put green liquid in your veins?
That's the twist of this book. We think it's about a omniscient VCR, but it's actually about like sex trafficking. Surprise! It's grim.
Oh boy.
How much more are we reading?
I was thinking one more chapter.
One more chapter. Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Chapter 8. I didn't get back to LA until 1 in the morning. Just for the hell of it, I drove by Christopher's house. I knew where he lived because I fucking stalked him. It was a 1-story house with a light on in his room. I guessed it was his. Summoning my courage, winning a lot of money had given me a shot of adrenaline and nerve. I parked and walked up to his window and knocked lightly. I want her to go, like, opens the window and she's just like, just like making it rain at him. Almost immediately, he pulled aside the curtain. He had
Okay,
Go on.
guys,
read that.
he had electrodes taped to his head
Obviously.
and a weird smile on his face that made me take a step back and say, "What the fuck?" Hi,
Then
he
I went
said
home and
as
never talked to him again.
he said as if I stopped by every night. Are you on this planet? I asked. Barely. Should I let you in? Will we wake your parents? I asked. Not unless we start yelling at each other. A minute later, he let me in the front door. He had taken off his electrodes. Thank
Why
God.
did that take a whole minute?
He had to take off the electrodes. He was like,
Is that right?
the second I was in his bedroom, he closed the door and pointed to his biofeedback machine. You know, like any boy would do when a girl gets into his room.
Hey, I asked for a biofeedback machine for Christmas in '93, and
Yeah.
I did not get one.
I asked for a Nintendo. Idiot.
I asked for I don't remember the name of it, but it was this thing. It was like a monster face, and you would put slime in it and like press down and slime would come. Do you remember that?
I
Oh,
remember
like come out of
that.
his eyeballs
Yeah.
and stuff? Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to have it. I wasn't allowed to play with slime as a kid.
Good reason. I'm
When
sure.
I would be given Ghostbusters toys as a child, Ghostbusters toys came with a little vat of slime because you could pour slime on them. But when I was given toys, I would open the toys and the slime would get snatched out. I wasn't allowed to play with it. It haunts me to this day. My
I'm gonna get you a
fucking
big old tub of slime.
my older brother Jason. I later found out my mom would just give him all the slime. He's 11 years older than me. She would just give this teenager a bunch of slime, and he would just like fucking play with it. So angry. Okay.
No slime for you. Childhood trauma.
I didn't know how deep a
Did they
wound
ever
that was
explain
until
why?
right now.
Did
We
your mom
found
ever
it, but
explain?
we've already derailed so much.
No, I want to know. I want to see it. Let me see. Yes! Ooh! Yes! Yes! You can make his eyes move. What's it called? Monster face. It's just called Monster Face.
Which is-
Those
Guys,
zany 90s
how did you
things.
find that so fast?
I googled, what did I put in? 90s toy slime face. And
90s
That's what it came
slime
up.
face.
I'll send it to you
Oh,
guys.
shit.
All right, we
Yes,
got- we-
please.
we
I
got
don't
it.
know what this is.
Okay. So, where the fuck was I? Oh yeah, he showed me his biofeedback machine. A foot square black box. It sat on the far right of its cluttered wooden desk. It had a row of 3 control knobs and 4 sets of wires leading away from it. Above each knob were different colored lights. Interesting.
Hold on.
I'll keep reading until you're ready.
Yeah.
Christopher explained that each light corresponded to a different brainwave. Theta, alpha, beta, delta. You know, the sororities. He said the combination of alpha and theta was the best, the tastiest.
When your brain produces those waves, you get in a real high state. When your brain produces those waves,
Yes.
insert comma, you get in a real high state, he said enthusiastically. What's it feel like? I asked, taking a seat on the corner of his bed. His room was jammed with scientific paraphernalia, a telescope, a microscope, 2 computers, maps of the nighttime sky. A perfect room for a young Einstein. He sat in his desk chair and put his bare feet up on the bed beside me. He had on gray sweats, no shirt. I was just thinking, why is this guy so nerdy and yet so hot? And then I realized he's Val Kilmer from Real Genius. And it makes sense. And I'm sad John left the room to not hear me say that. The muscles of his chest were well defined, his skin hairless. I wanted to rub his feet, but it was late and I wasn't so bold. Why?
No, the worst part of the human body.
Yeah. Ew, no one longs to rub men's feet. You feel euphoric, he said. It's as if you're melting into and becoming part of a vast ocean. Is it like
That's how boys talk.
Yeah. Also, I was not paying attention to what we're fucking talking about. What are we talking about? Brain waves?
Yep.
Okay. Is it like how the yogis describe higher states of consciousness? He brushed his hand aside. They describe their experiences in mystical terms. There's nothing mystical about this. When the brain produces certain waves, your consciousness is naturally altered. Could it be the other way around? What do you mean? He asked. Could the fact that your consciousness alters change your brain waves? No. He tapped his biofeedback machine. With this, I can control my brainwaves directly. It's purely a mechanical process. I smiled. But you're not a machine, Christopher. He nodded, also smiling. You're getting into heavy philosophical territory. Are our minds the result of our brains, or is it the other way around?
Wow, I was a theater kid in high school, and I promise you I was less insufferable. I was insufferable. I'm not pretending I wasn't, but Lord, apparently there's worse.
Yeah.
And it's this conversation.
John, I decided that he's Val Kilmer from Real Genius, because only that can describe why he's hot and smart.
Yes.
I, for one, see no evidence that our consciousness is anything more than the result of electrochemical activity inside our brains. You don't believe that we have souls? I asked. No, I think that's only a fool's wish. Are you religious? My father's a minister. You didn't answer the question. I closed my eyes a moment. The terror of my recent nightmares touched me briefly then, yet something in these dreams, horrible as they were, made me feel that, yes, there was a part of me that could survive any catastrophe. I opened my eyes. It depends what you mean by religious, I said. I believe in life. That's vague. What do you believe about life? That it's beautiful, that it goes on and on. That's one thing life certainly doesn't do. The redwoods may live 2,000 years, but in the end they die. Unless there's an amazing medical breakthrough soon, we'll both be dead 80 years from now. I suppose, I said wistfully. It was so far away. The conversation was depressing me. I wondered how it had gotten started. I had stopped by to show Christopher my stack of $100 bills, but now I hesitated. He'd want to know how I'd gotten the money.
Change the subject.
And my reluctance to discuss my VCR was still strong. It was nice, though, just to sit on his bed and be with him. I added, "What are you doing up so late?" "I could ask you the same question," he said, "but I won't. I often stay up late to work."
Fixing VCRs and stuff? No, I do that during the day. At night, I work on my own stuff. Such as, he chuckled, I'm building a starship. Would you like to be my chief engineer?
Oh,
Jesus
Christopher.
Christ! Sounds like fun. She lied.
The starship is in my pants.
Right? He stood and reached for the electrodes he had been wearing. I want to hook you up to my biofeedback machine. Does it hurt? Not at all. He gestured for me to sit in his chair. The wires won't reach to the bed.
I want to make a prediction.
Yes.
He fixed that VCR that she ended up buying from Circuit City, and he did some weird fucking shit to it
Oh.
that made it all mystical.
Weird.
With his biofeedback and whatever.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, because
just
why else
wondering
would a
how
fucking VCR from Circuit City tell the future? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone put that curse on that VCR, and I think it was Christopher.
Okay.
On the other side of things, this is different enough from the Midnight Club show that I have no idea. But like, why is she having these dreams about aliens if the aliens didn't make the VCR?
Yeah. What are the aliens about?
I think he's an alien.
Maybe he's
He
also an
sounds
alien.
like a fucking alien.
He
talks
does,
like an alien, but
especially
so
when
does
we make
she.
him talk like this.
It just makes sense to read it that way.
it does.
No, it does.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I moved into the chair reluctantly. Could I accidentally get electrocuted? He laughed as he began to probe my head, searching for a good
Just-
place to attach the wires.
He laughs
brushing
like Mark Zuckerberg.
aside brushing aside my hair where it was in his way. A week ago, I would have believed his touching my head would be a heavenly experience. Now I was trembling with fear. You'll live, Rela, he said. I don't know if I like this. You'll love it. You can do it with your eyes open or closed. A different light goes on every time your brain produces a particular wave. The machine allows you to train your brain to consciously make alpha or theta, whatever. But the machine also makes a specific sound for the different waves you make. Once you know the sound, you don't have to watch the lights anymore. You can lie back and go to sleep. Deep,
Wait.
I whispered. Yes, he promised. He pulled back the hair on my right temple, and I could feel the wire lightly scratch my skin.
I don't understand what's happening.
I'm just like when he says that makes every time your brain makes a wave, it makes a sound. It's just like the sound you're like, ha, oh.
God.
I was pictured like. Was that you? No.
No, it was
that
the
was the machine. It was definitely not me. The
Impossible.
machine ate beads earlier.
Impossible as it may sound, I could smell the copper in the wire. Well, you can smell copper, kind of. I mean, and it reminded me of another smell, that of blood. Yeah, there we go. Which also contained copper. Yes, we know. My nightmares were never really that far from my consciousness. It was odd, I thought, how they had started when I bought the VCR. Christopher continued. Here, let me just stick this contact beside your... Stop, I said, standing up suddenly and pulling the electrodes off. He seemed surprised. What's wrong? I was having trouble breathing. I don't know. Rela, I don't want to do it. I swear to you there is absolutely no danger. These wires only receive the very low voltage your brain is producing. They don't carry any electricity into the brain. A wave of dizziness came over me, and the room swam before my eyes. I stepped toward the door. I have to go home. I'm sorry. Rela, he grabbed my arm. You don't have to do it. He put his other hand on my shoulder and pulled me closer. You don't have to go. Look at you. You're trembling. I lowered my head, embarrassed. The dizziness was passing as swiftly as it had come. I guess my brain must be producing Rela waves, I said softly. Fucking nailed it, Rela.
Swing.
That's so bad.
He gently lifted my chin. What are Rela waves? He asked. Inches from my face. They're incoherent. They make people believe in butterflies and trees. You know, things that don't exist.
Those myths. Butterflies. Never heard of her.
Christopher watched me with his deep, dark eyes, but I...
This actually takes place in 2093.
Okay. Christopher watched
After they've
me
gone extinct.
with his deep, dark eyes, but I did not see the moon and the stars in them this time.
You know what? This is like... She's a manic pixie dream girl. We're like getting the point of view of a manic pixie dream girl, and that's why shit is fucking crazy and doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, okay.
'Cause that's what it's like in her brain.
She's
There's butterflies and trees and shit.
She's Natalie Portman and Garsdale doing the whole like thing.
Yeah.
The thing about Manic Pixie Dream Girls is they're all undiagnosed spectrum.
Chris made that joke last episode.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Chris was like, Chris said both of these characters are on the spectrum.
They both have the Rela waves.
They both.
I saw only a young man who liked dangerous toys, and it didn't matter to me that he said they were safe. Yet for all that, it didn't make me love him any less. He touched my hair. Those are not such bad things, he said. I like them. Did I ever tell you that you looked familiar to me when we met? I was surprised. You looked familiar to me, too. Really? Yeah, right from the beginning. Why do you think that is?
Time travel.
I don't know. I don't know if it matters.
Aliens. Time travel.
This is the most fucking Manic Pixie Dream everyone conversation I've ever
Name drop the
heard.
Shins. Oh wait, no. Too late. Name drop.
Postal Service.
That's still 2000s. I got nothing from the 90s.
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
Oh, the
I don't even
90s?
know.
Oh boy.
Portishead.
Yeah.
When did the Pixies show up?
Yeah, like 88.
I don't know if that matters. It matters to me. You look sad. Are you sad? I frowned. Yes, I said honestly. Too many Rela waves.
my
He
God.
leaned closer. Can I kiss you? I smiled. You're not supposed to ask. You're just supposed to do it. They didn't know about consent yet. I paused. No. He grinned. Is this no the same no you gave me when I asked you out? No. I stepped back and his hand fell away from my hair. I can't tonight, Christopher. It's not a good time for me. He was concerned.
I've been up for 48 hours. I just drove here from Vegas.
I reek of Vegas. I have $1,000 in my pocket. I need to go home.
I almost went on a date with a bookie.
Yeah. He was concerned. You're still upset. I'm sorry I scared you. You didn't scare me. I scared myself.
Oh, for fuck's
I
sake.
turned toward the door. I've got to get home before it's too late. Too late for what?
Oh my god.
For
tomorrow.
You want me to finish it?
Yes.
I paused at the door and glanced over my shoulder. Deja vu touched me. There was no denying it. I had seen Christopher before in this bedroom a long time ago, yet not in this room. Too late for the news, I said. I want to watch it.
Roll credits.
Are they like in a time loop doing this over and over again?
Oh god. I don't know. Holy
I
shit.
do not know what the dreams and the fucking aliens have to do with it at all.
And she's starting to remember like shit that happened in the previous loop because it just happens over and over again.
Maybe they lived
Like a
through this
bleed-through effect?
before, and their future selves went back and they're trying to warn their past selves through the VCR.
Oh, like a 12 Monkeys situation.
I never saw that.
But yes, it is a 12
Okay.
monkey situation.
Then yes, confirmed.
Confirmed.
It's
12
a 12 monkey
You know what,
situation.
guys? It's a 12 monkey situation.
Classic.
Yeah.
Are we doing a 12 Monkeys?
100%.
Well, I
this
don't know
book
what
is,
that is, but it's like Harry Potter, that one book with the Time Turner.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
Is that like 12
Yeah.
monkeys?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling did a 12 Monkeys.
J.K. Rowling
we
did
don't
do
say
12
that
monkeys.
name. You can bleep her name out.
Sorry, you have to do a little extra editing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to edit that.
Yeah, 12 Monkeys about Bruce Willis in the future going back in time to stop something that he can't stop from happening because it's already happened in the future.
Is he throw a rock at his own head like Hermione does?
I think he does shout at himself like in an airport or something. I don't remember. I think this book is going to end with them putting the VCR in Circuit City.
For someone else to buy?
in the past, yeah. No, the book is going to end with them going back in time and putting the VCR in Circuit City.
To warn themselves in the future?
Yeah, but like it's going to go horribly wrong and then Rilla's going to buy it and it's going to be like, oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think she was getting chromed up in her dreams.
Like in Cyberpunk.
Yeah. And then she goes cyber psycho and kills everyone.
I don't know what to say to that.
I loved that silence.
I think the aliens are Rela.
Oh.
Future Rela is aliens.
Future Rela
I don't
is
know.
aliens.
And she's like someone said, trying to stop past stuff. So yeah, she's the aliens that are attacking her because she's trying to stop her from
Yeah.
doing something bad that we don't know about yet. Maybe killing a guy.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Well, so we all know the premise now.
Yeah.
The VCR records the future.
Okay.
So that is what I had read from the blurb when I was reading the list of Christopher Pike books.
Okay.
So
but
what
I
it
was
records is going to escalate. It's going to go beyond like fun sports betting to
Right.
like
Yeah,
trying
I'm
to stop traumatic
It'll
things
be
from
like
happening.
9/11.
I was assuming it was going to be like, like a plane crashed
Yeah.
or like a school bus drove into the ocean or something.
Yeah.
And she'd have to go try to stop stuff.
I bet she figures out she could keep setting the date further and further into the future, and then she sees like Mad Max times on TV.
Here's what I want to know is what the absolute fuck is the cover about?
Oh, right.
Kelly hasn't seen the cover. Oh, here, I'll just look up a picture of it. Kelly, have you seen the cover of this book?
No, I have not.
Okay, 1 second. The
I'm
Eternal
looking it up.
and I was going to share it with you.
Oh, or do that. That also works.
Yeah, because the
Less
cover of this book,
Wait, there's a couple different. There's.
because it's
a
like
few
The
different
cover
covers,
is
but-
insane.
Yeah. Yeah, who's that guy? I guess that's the main question is who the fuck is that guy?
Okay, wait. Whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Because his other covers have like those kind of like old pulpy. Yeah.
But like, look at
I was like, I think I've seen the Remember Me one where there's like a guy lying on the sidewalk.
F. Murray
Yeah.
Abraham.
But yeah, like who the what is this?
Oh God!
What is this?
What in the Animorphs is that?
He's anamorphing into himself.
Yeah.
Except,
so, okay.
yeah, Animorphing into Jean-Luc Picard.
So everything on like the bottom half of this cover makes sense to me now, where it's Rela
Yeah.
looking at a TV, taping the evening news with her fucking haunted VCR. Who is the fucking Dracula, the time Dracula,
And his
That's played
turtleneck.
by
who's
Yul
like
Brynner.
quantum leaping into in front of her with his magic hands?
Is that the alien? Or is that Christopher? Is she like, he's so hot? And
Oh
then
my
he looks
God,
like fucking
that's
that.
Christopher. That would be amazing if that was Christopher. That's Christopher from the future. That's what I'm saying.
Oh God.
That's what I'm saying.
Rela, I've come back to warn you.
Yeah, she's gonna meet a dude. Calling it.
Don't record the
Steve
gonna-
Jobs is
she's
still
gonna
alive at this point in time.
She's gonna meet like a creepy old dude, and he's gonna be like Rela, and she's gonna be like, oh no, he's a creepy old dude trying to kill me, and it's gonna be fucking
it's
Christopher
me.
from the future come back in time. Yeah.
Alternate reality version of Steve Jobs because he's got the turtleneck on,
Yes.
but like no beard. So this is the version of Steve Jobs that gets cancer and
Oh, no.
treats it with real medicine.
Yeah.
She looks too far
Instead
into
of
the
fruit.
future.
We've all
She
seen
looks too far into the future and just sees Jeff Bezos.
Oh no! He's like, I went to space and I have terrible news. They're coming.
William Shatner cried after being in space, and I laughed at his face.
He laughed at him.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I thought it was funny.
Wait, what?
Well, William Shatner went up in that Amazon capsule
Yeah.
thingy, and when he came back, like Bezos was like talking to him and like posing for the video and like pictures and everything.
Yeah.
And William Shatner's trying to talk about how emotional he got. And he's just like, yeah, that's great, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
What?
And just smiling for the camera.
dumb
It
dick.
was disgusting.
That's Captain
It's just
Kirk,
like,
you piece of
You
shit.
just flew an old man into space so you could have your picture taken with him. Like, that's all he did. Like, he spent billions of dollars flying an old, like an 80-year. No, he's like in his 90s.
I was just
now.
gonna say, isn't
a
he
90
90?
plus year old into space?
He's
so
very
you can take his
old.
picture with him. It's so disgusting to me.
Yeah, there's a lot
It's
about
unethical.
this world that's not great, but we can always fall back into these old teen books. Join us
Yay.
next time on Below
Yay.
Grade Level, where we find out whatever the fuck happens with Rela, Christopher, and the magic future VCR. Oh my God. Kelly, thank you. Did you have fun?
I did. This is a mess.
Yeah, I know. It's a real hot mess.
I love it.
Oh god. Thank you so much. Do you have anything to plug for people listening to this?
Watch Poker Face on Peacock.
It's
just a good show.
Start it.
Yeah, we gotta watch that.
I just want
Nothing
people
else to
see
share
it.
though.
Yeah.
I just like the show. It's really good.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode.
I haven't even seen it, but like, what's
I
not to
really
like?
liked it.
Natasha Lyonne, Ryan Johnson, fucking get out
Yeah.
of here.
It's that thing where it looks very old, but it's new. You know? I
You
don't
know that thing that they do now?
That thing that they do. I thought that about the Knives Out sequel too. I was just like, this is like an old Hollywood movie,
Yeah.
but with modern technology. Same thing. It just felt like a gritty 70s like murder of the week TV show. But
I'm just
Natasha Lyonne is there to go, bullshit.
Ooh,
I'm
we
just a
could buy
big fan
one
of
those
that
Monster
director.
Face toys for $400.
Oh shit. Dinks, buy it.
I'll keep an eye out for it at the flea market.
Oh yeah,
Thank
definitely. The slime will be all dried up though.
I'll look for some gack. We'll just put some
Look for some gack.
slime in.
Chris, what do you got to say to people listening to this?
If you like what we do here, check out the Sketchy Show. It's completely different, but still kind of the same, just with actual editing and music
And all these
sound
people are on
effects, and everyone here is on it, and it's great.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe to Below Grade Level and the Sketchy Show. We're on all the stuff that you listen to podcasts on, and check out cactusrodeo.com. Every once in a while, I post a comic, and it's fun. And also, every once in a while, I say, Pop Psychic Theater, still coming. We're working on it. Still coming. One of these days. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time for more of The Eternal Enemy. Bye!
Bye.
Love you. Bye!
Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.